If you've been thinking about starting barber school, this is the perfect video to watch before you enroll. I'm going to share with you some of my experiences as well as some of the things that I wish I would have known before I started barber school. Let's start out with the most important topic, choosing a school that's right for you. If there are several barber schools in your area, go visit each one. Just get information on each school, ask to talk to the head instructor. That way you can kind of get a feel of the school and see if that's a place for you. Now we all know that barber school isn't free, so let's talk about the options that you have when it comes to financing your barber school journey. It really boils down to two options. That's financial aid or some type of assistance or financing, and then on the other hand, you have paying out of pocket. I strongly suggest that you explore every option before paying out of pocket. Now, depending on how long the school has been open, you may be able to get financial aid through your barber school. Now, for me, that wasn't the case. So since I used my financial aid when I was in college, I wasn't able to use it for barber school. So I ended up having to pay out of pocket. Now, I could have taken out a loan or explored some other option, but I didn't want to have to pay back money with any interest. So I paid out of pocket. There are also grant programs. It just depends on your area. So I would research any type of grants or any type of financial assistance that you can get for barber school. Now, the main question that you want to know, well, how much does barber school cost? And that strongly depends on how long the school has been around, their reputation, and also what area you're in. So in my experience in Mississippi, schools range from about $7,000 to upwards of over $20,000. Now, where I went to school at, it was $7,500. But like I said, that depends on what school you go to. I've even seen people start a GoFundMe account in order to pay for their barber school. Next, let's talk about barber kits. Now, as far as a barber kit, the school may provide you with one, or you may have to bring your own. Now, in my case, I had to supply my own barber kit, so I'm going to go through the basics of what you'll need. Now, first off, I recommend that you have at least 2 trimmers, as well as 2 clippers, and it's optional to have a shaver. Now, some people may be wondering, should I buy wireless clippers or trimmers or corded? And in my opinion, it's a trade-off with either or. If you buy wireless clippers and trimmers, you're going to have to constantly recharge them, or you may be in the middle of cutting somebody's hair and they just go dead. And with corded clippers, you're going to get that consistent workhorse power that you're going to need, but they're going to get hot, so you're going to need more than one pair. So it's a trade-off, and I'll let you make that decision. Now, you can get this off of Amazon for maybe 15 or 20 bucks. There are so many razor holder options out there, and some of the razor holders even come with razors in the kit. But if not, Persona, they make good blades, or you can try Dorco Prime. It's really up to you. You're also going to need a good multi-purpose comb set, and you don't have to go spend 50 bucks on a comb set. Like I said, all of these things I'm going to tell you about, you can get them on Amazon for a very cheap price. So you want a comb set that's flexible, but it has some sturdiness to it. So you don't want a flimsy comb that will break. You want something that's sturdy. So you want a comb that has water teeth on one end to comb through the thicker hair, and then you want a comb that also has fine teeth on the other end to comb through the shorter hair, especially for when you're fading. Now, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is brushes. Now, if you're going to use brushes, as you can see, I have multiple brushes. You need to have a rotation of brushes because you'll find out in barber school that brushes hold a lot of bacteria, and if you disinfect them, you need to run them through hot water and soap for at least 5 minutes. So that's why I always keep a combination of about 4 or 5 brushes, and I rotate them. And if I take a break, I'll go disinfect all of them. And I know I'm going to burst some bubbles when I say this, but a lot of barbers use these little small brushes like this to actually to actually brush their hair while they're fading. This is a big no-no. These brushes hold so much bacteria, and if you're going from person to person, you just have caked up hair in this brush from person to person. That's why in my fading videos, you'll see me always use a comb, because combs can easily be disinfected. So that's why you have Barbicide. Next on the list is shears. Shears can get pretty pricey. You don't need to go pay $400 or $500 for a nice pair of shears. You can pay about $75 to $100 on a pair of beginner shears is a good starting point. Now, eventually you can upgrade, and you'll need to upgrade if you're cutting a majority of straight hair clients that want length off the top. But other than that, $75 to $100 pair of shears, it should do the job for you. You'll also want a blow dryer with multiple features such as high, medium, low, and you want a blow dryer with cool shot. So that's an option. You can press a button and it'll shoot out cool air. You want a blow dryer with hot and cold functions. And you can get one on Amazon for maybe 35, 40 bucks. You don't have to go buy a Dyson. And of course you'll need your things like your neck strips, your cape, your barber smock. If you're in school, you'll be required to wear a barber smock at all times. And your school will probably specify what kind you need. Now this next item that you'll need is very controversial, and that is a neck duster. You do not need a neck duster. And once you start barber school, you will start to find out a lot of information about sanitation. And in your book, it will tell you that neck dusters are no longer deemed sanitary. Just think about it. If you're cutting 10 to 12 people in a day, that's 10 to 12 people's hair that's in that same neck duster. So that's why you see me get something like this. So this is a cordless air duster. This costs about 80 bucks on Amazon. Now I strongly suggest that you get something like this. A lot of people have those big bulky air compressors with the cords. This is cordless, it's just easy to store away. You can literally put it right next to your products and not even have to worry about it. So this is a great alternative to a neck duster. You're also gonna need a jar for your barber slide. So this disinfects all of your combs, your guards, whatever you need. And of course you're gonna need a disinfectant for your clippers. They have so many versions of this. Cool Care, Clipper Slide, Marva Slide. The options are endless. And then finally, you'll need a clipper case or a barber backpack. Now you can usually get them around $80 to $100, maybe up in the $150 range if you just want a premium one. But it's all up to what you can afford. And this is just a bonus item, a ring light. If you don't have good lighting, a ring light will be your best friend. Now I'm going to talk to you about the mindset that you'll need going into barber school, and I'll share with you my experience. You want to be eager and hungry for knowledge. Now, before you even start cutting hair, you have to learn so many theory hours. So I think I can't remember how many hundred theory hours, but you're going to want to learn the information in the book first. What you learn in the book will translate right over into your haircuts. So you want to develop good practices. So that's why you want to make sure that you learn the information in the book. And I know some of the material may be like, oh, this is so boring, but I promise you, it will pay off in the long run. Even when I was in school, I was like, oh my God, when are we gonna start cutting? I'm so tired of looking at this textbook. But once I started cutting, I started remembering the lessons, and we were referencing the material in the book, so it all made sense, so it ties together. And I really wanna emphasize on this point, and that's staying humble. You may come into barber school already knowing how to cut hair, and that was the case with me, but at the same time, I knew that the instructor had literally 30 years of experience, and I only had like a couple of years of experience cutting, and that was just in my dorm in college. So I knew, yeah, I may know how to do a little bit, but this instructor can really take my barbering skills to the next level. Even if you know that you can cut better than everybody else, nobody likes to show off, or anybody that just thinks they're better than everyone else. So make sure you have that humble mindset, and people will gravitate towards you. And you never know, with your other classmates, you may pick up things from them, and they can pick up things from you, vice versa. Also, you're gonna get haircuts that make you nervous. For example, if you never cut straight hair before, you may be shaking like a stripper when it's time to cut the hair with the shears. Your hands may be shaking, but it's okay. That's perfectly fine. Like they say, a smooth C never made a skilled sailor. So you're not gonna get better unless you try these challenging haircuts. So if a walk-in walks through the door and you've never cut that hair extension before, I can get you. Come on, I can get you. You know, be eager and set in your mind to be the best barber. When I say be humble, let your work do the talking for you. Don't say, oh yeah, I'm the best barber in here. I can fade better than anybody in here. No, don't do that. But let your work speak for itself. And then the last thing, some of you may be wondering how long the barber school is. So you have two options. You can do part-time or full-time. You have to have 1,500 credit hours to graduate. So that's usually gonna take you about a year, maybe a little longer, maybe a little shorter. It just depends on how you can cram in your hours. And if I can give you one last tip of advice, that would be, don't be afraid to make the jump. If you're thinking about barber school and if you really have a passion for barbering, do it. I am telling you, do it. Barbering is one of the best decisions that I ever made. I can't explain to you the joy that you get from having somebody walk in. They may come in there like, man, I need a haircut. It's been a rough week. And in 30, 45 minutes, when they look in that mirror and literally the mood just lifts instantly. That confidence just comes back instantly. And being able to instill that in other people, that just gives me a satisfaction like no other. So if you really have a passion for barbering, I encourage you to make that jump. So that pretty much wraps up this video. If you got value out of this video, I ask that you hit the like button. If you're new to this channel and you like what you saw in this video, I ask that you subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Barber Style Directory. That's at Barber Style Directory. And if you want to see more of my haircuts, you can follow me on Instagram at Thomas Cut It. That's at THOMASCUTIT. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all on the next video.